Today we're going to be thinking about sharing our story. So I want to tell you the story of this little girl here. Isn't she cute and lovely? Well, you've probably guessed that it's me, and I want to tell you my story. Now, when I was little, my family didn't really go to church very much, and we didn't talk about God. I thought that God liked it when people did good things and really didn't like it when people did bad things. Now, this worried me a little bit because I knew that I did some good things, but I also knew I did some bad things too. And I thought, sometimes I do more bad things than good. And I worried, what will happen to me when I die? Will I be able to be good enough to go to heaven? That was one of the things that I thought about quite a bit when I was little. Am I good enough? Am I pretty enough? Am I smart enough? Am I fast enough? Have I got enough friends? And sometimes I felt like, no, I'm not good enough. And I'd have to try really, really hard to do better. And I'd be a bit annoyed at myself if I didn't do very well on a spelling test, or if I fell out with a friend. I'd feel really bad. Now, one of the things that I thought I could do to help God to like me was to say prayers. So I printed off some prayers off the internet, and I thought, I'm going to pray this every day. And if I pray this prayer every day, then maybe God will like me and God will take me to heaven when I die. But it didn't go very well because I printed off the prayers, but I didn't always read them. I found something else to do, or I just forgot. And again, it was another one of those things that I just wasn't good enough at. When I got to be 17, I made a friend who knew Jesus. And she would talk about how she knew God, how she talked to him and he talked to her. So I asked her, well, what do you mean that you talk to him? Now, I had never heard of praying like this, really. I thought that you just read the Lord's Prayer, or you read a different prayer, something that was already written down. And so it was very different. And she told me that God loved her more than anyone else who knew her, and that he loved her no matter what. And she said, and Steph, God loves you too. If you believe in him, then you know that he loves you, and that you know that when you die, you'll go to heaven. Now I thought, well, that's okay for you because you're good and clever and kind and smart, but it's not good for me because I'm not good enough. And she said, no, that's not how it is at all. Jesus has died so that everyone can be forgiven. Do you think that I'm good and kind all the time? I'm not. I'm not good enough either. No one's good enough. But God loves us all. He sent Jesus to die for us so that we could be forgiven and know him as the best friend ever. The best friend and the best dad. Now, I said to my friend, I want to know God like you do. And she said, I'm so excited, I've been praying for this. She was really pleased. But it wasn't easy straight away. I didn't immediately think, hooray, God loves me. I still sometimes worried. And if anything, it got a little bit worse. I started to think, oh, God's got really quite a lot of things that he wants me to do. A lot of things that I didn't think were wrong before. And now I realise that they're not the best for me. God doesn't want me to do those things. And so I'd think, hooray, God loves me because I read the Bible. And then I'd think, oh, I said a bad word. God doesn't like me anymore. I've got to try really, really hard to make him love me again. But I had it all wrong because she was right. God loves us no matter what. He loves us when we're bad and he loves us when we're good. It doesn't make a difference. And so what about me today? Well, I've had 10 years of knowing God's love, and I've grown to know him better, to know his love even more. And now when I worry that I'm not good enough, or when I worry that I've let him down, I can go to him and speak to him and know his comfort again, to know that there's nothing I could do to separate me from his love. So what is your story? How did you come to know God? What were you like before, and how has God changed you? Maybe you don't know God yet, and maybe you need to ask a friend like I did. How can I know God in the way that you do? We all have a slightly different story. What is your story?